What's going on, YouTube? Anthony Sequeira here, and I'm glad you're joining me for another Google Cloud Platform video. And in this one, we are going to go after the traditional methodology of having compute resources in the cloud, and I'm of course referring to the old-fashioned virtual machine. So let's jump in and take a look at our first method. That's going to be to use the console. This is probably not something you're going to do a lot of down the road, but it's a great way to get started with Google Cloud Platform. So we're going to go to our main menu, and under the compute area, notice there is a compute engine category, and there is a VM instances option in there. So we're going to go into the VM instances, and if you have never created one, you'll have this window which gives you a nice happy create button, and we're going to give our instance a name, and since I'm so creative, I'll go with their default of instance 1. We could add labels in order to add a bunch of key value pairings for whatever metadata we might want to associate with this instance. We're going to choose a region, and we are then going to choose the hardware. Now, one nice thing about, that's someone liking one of my videos, how nice. So one nice thing about the Google Cloud Platform is that you can go in and you can customize the CPU cores and memory. So pretty cool. So I could go in and say, you know, I want exactly 4 gigs of RAM with this particular machine family. So that's a nice feature. Notice we are going to choose the boot disk operating system. The default is going to be Debian or Debian, and so we'll go with the default of Debian, but we could certainly go in and change to a different operating system, even Windows Server if we wanted. And we're going to allow full access to all cloud APIs, and let's just pretend we'll be doing some web serving off this down the road, so we'll allow HTTPS traffic. Notice you could go in and manipulate security settings, disk settings, networking, but none of that is required. We can create the virtual machine at this point, and now we see the VM dashboard, and we see our instance being created inside of that dashboard. So that's it. Notice green check mark. The instance is ready, and sometimes they're a little bit aggressive with that. So if you come to this connect SSH and you say that you want to go ahead and connect to that resource in a browser window, don't panic if the resource isn't truly available for you to log in. A lot of times they'll kind of tell us that it's ready, but it's not fully spun up and ready for us to log in. In our example here, it looks like we are establishing a connection to the SSH server that's inside of that image. So I think we're actually going to connect here. I'll give it just another couple of seconds, and then we'll give up on this, and we'll go and cover the next method of creating a VM instance, and I think you're really going to like it. I'll tell you what, I'll just minimize that and we'll check on it in a moment. But let's now do something different when it comes to virtual machine creation. So I'm going to go to the home area here, and let me refresh actually my console, because a button is not appearing that I want to use with us right now. And notice that button is to activate Cloud Shell. There is a command line that you can use in conjunction with Google Cloud Platform. The command line can be installed and run on your local machine, be it a Mac, be it Windows, doesn't matter, be it Linux. But if you want to access the CLI while you're in the console, that's super convenient, and that Activate Cloud Shell button will get it done for you. And by the way, while the Cloud Shell is spinning up for us, let me go back and look at that. The machine that we built using the console is now accessible. And there we are in instance 1, and that is a Debian, as we said, version of Linux. Well, great, I'll close that up. We'll terminate our connection to that instance. And now you can see that I'm in the Cloud Shell, and I'm going to create a VM with almost the exact parameters that we just saw, except this time I'm going to go ahead and just have all the defaults in place, so we won't customize the memory. Watch how easy this is to do. We issue the gcloud command. This is the kind of foundational command that says we want to do stuff with the CLI here. And then we are specifically working with the compute facilities. So we say gcloud compute, and then we are going to say instances and spelling counts. And then I'm going to say create. And we had our instance 1. Well, let's create instance 2. And how about instance 3? So the command gcloud compute instances create instance 2 and instance 3. It wants us to be sure that we want these in the US East 1C region. We could certainly switch that if we wanted to, but let's just pretend we're okay with that. And by the way, we could have specified the region when we did the zone, to be more technically accurate. We could have easily specified the zone in the command by setting it as a parameter. We also could have specified any other non-defaults right in that command that we wanted. But we'll just say, yes, that's fine, put them in US East 1C, and note, it goes to work creating the instances. So you talk about simple, look at that. We've got 2 additional instances. I will now close the Cloud Shell, and we'll go back up to our menu. We'll go down to the compute area, and we'll go back to our VM instances dashboard, and we'll discover there that we now have 3 instances of virtual machines up and running and in place. I hope you enjoyed this look at working with traditional virtual machines inside of Google Cloud Platform. We took a look at 2 different ways to create them, didn't we? We can use the graphical user interface console, but so much cooler, so much more efficient, we can use the command line in order to create, in this case, 2 of them very rapidly. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and maybe even get notifications so you can enjoy more great Cisco, Microsoft, and cloud training. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.